Hey everybody, I hope you had a chance to finish your assignment from last night, lesson 21. We're moving on with equations, and we're going to be talking about are equations true or false. So the key to figuring out whether an equation is true or false is to look at the symbols. So we've got our equal to, our greater than, our less than, our greater than or equal to, and our less than or equal to. So we're going to pay close attention to the symbols to determine whether an equation is true or false. So with these first equations, I'm going to substitute x for 3 in every equation for right now to determine whether it's true or false. All right, so let's take a look at the first one. So 5 plus x equals 8. So if I replace the x with 3, 5 plus 3 equals 8. Well, 5 plus 3 is 8, so 8 equals 8. So this would be a true statement because it's the equal sign. All right, so we have 5x. So if we replace the x with 3, and I know when the x is right next to the 5, we're multiplying. 5 times 3 I know equals 15. Well, 15 doesn't equal 8, so this would be false. 5 plus x is greater than 8. Well, if I put 3 in the place of x, then I have 8. 8 is greater than 8. Well, 8 is not greater than 8. It's equal to 8. So this is false. 5x is greater than 8. So we've got 5 times 3 is greater than 8. Well, 15 is greater than 8, so this would be considered true. All right, so now we have 5 plus x is greater than or equal to 8. So now we have that greater than or equal to. So if this is greater than, it would be true. If it's equal to, it would be true. So let's put the 3 in the place there. 5 plus 3 would be 8. 8 is greater than or equal to. Well, it is equal to 8. So this is going to be true. So you have a little more leeway with those because it can be one or the other. All right, so I hope this makes sense to you. This is what we're going to be doing today. So if you would go ahead and get your exercise paper out, and this is what we're going to be working on together right now, and this will help you then with your problem set. So as I erase, I want you to go ahead and get your paper out, and we're going to have to pay close attention to what the unknown is what's being substituted for that unknown, because that and the symbol are going to be the key to whether an equation is true or false. All right, so I'm going to put my paper up here so I can see, and I've got x is going to equal 8 here. So I've got 4 plus x equals 12. So when I replace the 8 and put that in the place of the x, I've got 4 plus 8. Well, 4 plus 8 equals 12, and 12 does equal 12. So that would be true. Notice how I'm working that out? Sometimes you'll need to work it out. I mean, this one was pretty simple since we know our addition facts, but sometimes they'll get a little more complex and you need to show your work to determine. All right, so number 2. So this time I've got g, and g is going to equal 4.5. So I've got 3g is greater than 15. All right, so I'm going to put 4.5 in the place of g, and I know I'm multiplying. So I've got 4 times 3, I know is 12. But then I also have 3 times half, which is going to be 1.5. So then when I put those together, I've got 13.5 is greater than 15. Well, 13.5 is not greater than 15. So this statement is going to be false. And see, this is one where you needed to work it out a little bit so that you would understand what the answer was. Okay, for the next one, we are going to be replacing f with 8. So we've got f divided by 4 is less than 2. So when I put 8 in the place of f, I've got 8 divided by 4 is less than 2. Well, that equals 2. So it would be 2 is less than 2. Well, 2 is not less than itself. So this would be false. Now, if it had that or equal to sign there, this would be a true statement. But see, it's all in the symbol. All right, so the next one is H is equal to 25 and 8/10. So we've got 14 2/10 is less than or equal to H minus 10 and 3/10. So if I put 25 and 8/10 in the place of H, 25 and 8/10, and I take 10 and 3/10 away, I notice with my whole numbers, I've got 25 minus 10, and I've got 8/10 minus 3/10. Well, 8/10 minus 3/10 is going to give me 5/10, and I've got 25 minus 10, which gives me 15. So I've got 14 and 2/10 is less than or equal to 15 and 5/10. Well, 14 and 2/10 is less than, so I can stop right there. So that would be a true statement because it's less than or equal to. So that would be a true statement. So see here, that symbol at the bottom doesn't really matter because we have the other symbol at the top. So it can be either or. All right. So now we have H is equal to 6. So we've got 4 equals 8 divided by H. 4, and I'm putting 6 in the place, 8 divided by 6. Well, I know that 8 divided by 4 is 2. So whenever I make the denominator bigger, the answer is going to be smaller. So I know right away that this is going to be false. But I'm going to go ahead and figure it. And if I divide 8 divided by 6, I'm going to get 1 1/3. So I'll get 1 2/6, and I'll reduce to 1 1/3. And so right away I know that this is a false answer. All right, last one, last practice. All right, so now we have K is equal to 1 1/2. So I have 3 is greater than K plus 1/4. Well, 3 greater than 1 1/2 plus 1/4. Well, we don't have common denominators here. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to make them common denominators. And then I can add them together. So now I have 1 2/4 plus 1/4, which is 1 3/4. So 3 is greater than 1 3/4, so this would be true. All right, so I hope you're understanding how to determine whether or not an equation is true or false. So I have a problem set that I want you to work on this evening, and then we'll talk about this tomorrow. This is not an assignment to be handed in. This is something that you'll do and we'll work on tomorrow. And then I'll give you an assignment that will be a graded assignment. So if you have any questions, if there's anything here that didn't make sense or you want clarified before you start the problem set, you can email me and I'll give you a call. And we'll just keep working at this, all right? So I want you to keep watching and keep learning.